Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin pushed a little higher today. It was a rather friendly day for Bitcoin. For other coins, I would say rather neutral. Okay, so there hasn't really been a lot of movement in the market today, but Bitcoin is pushing on the lower time frames the boundaries of our lower degree bearish structure. Overall, looking at the bigger picture, we're obviously tracking the bullish structure. Yeah, we talked about that. Been talking about this 1-2-1-2 setup that's playing out here on the chart, most likely with a third wave to the upside likely in the making. Well, in this wave degree here, yeah, and then within this larger third wave, we have got our 1-2 setup. The only question is, how deep does the wave 2 go? So that means we are leaning bullish. Yeah, it's always worth reminding people for that about that. The idea is that the bear market low is already in. Should the price go below 18K, yeah, and we get a sustained break below the $18,000 level, yeah, then we have to assume that we will open the trapdoor to 8 to 10K, which would be the bearish overall scenario on the chart, and we would get another bear market low. I mean, I would personally treat that as a gift. I think most people would. There would be a lot of panic though. And now I shouldn't say most people would, but most informed people would treat it as a gift. If Bitcoin really makes another bear market low, it would be beautiful for accumulation. However, I don't think we're going to get it. Okay, so I think we're going to go up a little earlier. The question is, okay, is the low already in, or do we go a little lower before going up? Before we dive deeper into the analysis, let us put the spotlight on our sponsor ChartPrime. ChartPrime is a service that offers a selection of specialized TradingView indicators designed to support you on your trading journey. The first one is the Market Oracle Pro. This tool, designed for precision, provides enhanced entry and exit signals along with 3 metrics aimed at deciphering market trends and optimizing your settings. Next, we have the Market Dynamics Pro. This unique tool merges ChartPrime's smart money concepts into a dynamic order block algorithm and is striving to provide a more accurate representation of volume. Lastly, the Prime Oscillators Pro. This trend-based oscillator offers a variety of market insights, including entry and exit points, overbought and oversold conditions, and potential reversal areas. That's a brief overview of what's new from ChartPrime. Stay tuned for more updates, and if you'd like to sign up with them, just follow the link in the description that offers you a discount. Thanks for watching. I'm honestly, Bitcoin's resilience up there and Bitcoin's hesitation to go down makes me think is something more bullish directly at play. Okay, so I would still prefer Bitcoin to go down lower. I haven't seen enough evidence to say the low is already in. You know the routine. We need to see 5 waves up and 3 waves down. It's always the same. However, we cannot ignore the constant failure of the bears. I mean, most of these bearish setups I've presented to you, they worked, but then very quickly the bulls came back, and they sometimes even pushed the price higher afterwards. Okay, so there isn't. That it's just that constant failure of the bears that we cannot ignore that. That's why we do TA, to recognize those nuances and to recognize really those details that are happening on a daily basis that give us some hints about, is something changing here? I mean, a lot of the altcoins, as you know, they are pretty much oversold. They have come very deep into support. Most of them are basically begging for a bounce. Some of them are starting to move, but very, very slowly. So Bitcoin dominance is still going up. So, my view, obviously we're still bullish. I just want to remind you that surely the low could be in, but it's just not very evident in the chart. Yeah, and this could, develop a beautiful head and shoulders pattern. So yeah, I mean, again, a lot of people on crypto Twitter still discussing, do we get another bear market low or not? I mean, that question for now that's not even really the question at the moment in my view. The main question at the moment is the low of this pullback already in, and are we going up more directly, or do we get another low here in still the 22 to 24K area? So for now, I still prefer that. It would give us a quite clear bottoming structure. But if something like this happens and we go up more directly, then we would probably have a situation that was fairly similar to 2020, where we had a not identical but a fairly similar structure here when the price, I mean, this was basically a V-shaped recovery. We haven't got that, right? Not this time, but the market recovered quite quickly and we never had a deep pullback. Okay, that's somewhat different to this time, but basically I compare that situation to here, sort of, because here initially it was also not very visible that we would go up more directly. Yeah, can you recognize this structure? It's somewhat similar. It also looks incredibly choppy here. I mean, it happened quite quickly, that move up, but it's just sort of that, you know, where you would think, okay, we pushed higher, possibly come down a little lower and then go up, but no, it went up more directly. I mean, the structure is a bit different, right? But I just want to emphasize, you know, could it be somewhat similar in that we don't get that last low? I think some exchanges made it when we came down here quite rapidly. And that's the problem. Not all exchanges did it. And for a wave 2 correction, this is quite shallow actually. But we'll see, you know, we'll see. I mean, I urged you in previous months to be prepared for both scenarios. The strategy, you can only really cope with this with the right strategy. So, but for now, I mean, I'm still watching here for an A, B, C structure with a possibility for the C wave to come down lower into the region between 22 to 24K. But there is just not enough weakness in the chart, okay? And again, pushing into micro resistance today, again, you know, it just gives us that hint that something more bullish might be at play. And in the overall scenario here that I have on the chart, actually on the 30-minute chart, or we could even go to the 4-hour. On the 4-hour chart, the move up here could just be a high B wave. Yeah, and then we could sell off still in the C wave. But the failure really of selling off here completely, and we had quite a few nice bearish setups. We had one up here, I think, if I remember correctly. We had one here, and you know, they were respected, but the price never really followed through impulsively to the downside, and it continues to fail to do so again today. I mean, again, yesterday, or the day before, we had our resistance area here. It did go a little lower actually, so we entered it, but I've just tied it up a little bit. But we had here bearish setup, a short trade, yeah, worked. But you know, today the price pushing again and maximizing micro resistance, even breaking it, but no sustained break. So the idea was that the price came down after that fake news pump in a wave 1, moved up in a wave 2 in the yellow count, then another 1 down and a 2 up, and we should really follow through to the downside. But I made you aware in the last video, as long as we push above, or as long as we are above that trend line, price can keep pushing. I mean, the resistance is being respected. Can you see that? You know, these fib levels, they are just perfect. They work. It's just that, can the price stop here or not? And at the moment, it doesn't really look like it wants to stop. So we still need to be prepared for potentially higher. And as I made you aware, if we push above 28,820, then the bears failed again and the bulls invalidated another bearish setup. And then we would get into this region here between 29,110 and 29,500. And this is going to be basically the last chance here for the bears. It would be a reset of wave 2. I would argue a reset of circle wave 2 seems quite likely now. It seems quite likely now. But then, you know, it still has a chance to reverse from up there, you know, as long as we don't break above 29,505, basically. Okay, so yeah, and a push above 29,500 would obviously make a more bullish scenario more likely. The bullish count is still the white wave count, in which we could get another high, at least one more high to around about 31K. In this scenario, we would probably be in a wave 4 right now. This wave 4 might already be complete if this was a running flat, but might also turn into a triangle if it comes down now, forms a higher low. And then we could rally in a 5th wave. So this would become much more evident with a break above 29,504 or another higher low now, and then a bit of an impulsive reaction to the upside. So I'm getting increasingly well warmed up to that scenario, but I mean, nothing has been invalidated yet, right? But I always try to make you aware before any invalidations occur, based on the signals that I see in the market. So the bears are just not as strong as they really should be in this range to really continue this push to the downside. So I guess we will have an answer pretty soon. And if we get 5 waves up, we should see a 3-wave move to the downside afterwards. At least I will indicate support that could then be used for a long trade. We talked about that setup already a few weeks ago. I think it never materialized, but that would be a setup that could take us to 40 to 50K. So still tracking that. It's a very choppy structure, rocky road to 40K. We just could take the move down first before going up, or we go up more directly, right? But overall, still tracking obviously bullish scenarios. Just here, the short-term bearish one still preferred at the moment, at least as long as we stay below 29,500. But we cannot ignore the the resilience here, and how well the bulls are actually holding. I mean, Bitcoin doesn't seem to be affected by the sell-off that we've had in the last few days in the stock market, right? Nasdaq, S&P coming down. It's going to be very interesting to see what's happening when the DXY is starting to trend down, or starting to trend up quite a bit again. At the moment, the DXY is just ranging, short term. That's going to be interesting, but yeah, Bitcoin is overall boring. But I mean, my observations are that the bears are failing here constantly. So we have to, even though I don't like the scenario, I don't like the structure of the move, and I don't believe it. I'm very, very skeptical about the white wave count, but it of course is a bullish scenario that we have to have on the radar. And this is just something that has been with us for a while now, this bullish count. And let's see if it plays out. I think we should have an answer pretty quickly. What I would see at the moment as likely is that we at least get a reset of wave 2 here, yellow wave 2. And if we go down from here more directly, it's forming a higher low, I will get increasingly, it gets increasingly obvious to me that it might play out here, the white wave count, and this might be a triangle. Okay, that's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, if you're interested in daily updates about the S&P 500 and several stocks, check out our stocks and S&P update service. You can find that one in the description. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.